Hello, ladies and gentlemen. How are you guys doing? Welcome back to today's session. Once again, hoping that all of you guys are doing good. Welcome back. My name is Anoop, and a very warm welcome for the third time. So, people, this is going to be the fourth session of Force and Laws of Motion. This is for CBSE 9th. I hope you guys are keeping up with what all we're doing in the session. If you haven't watched all the videos yet, please do that. And also, if you liked it, leave a like as well. So that's it, guys. Let us get started with today's session. So people, this is going to be the fourth session where we'll be talking about the third law of motion, one of the most interesting laws, I would say, because apparently that is the most easiest one that everyone remembers. So we'll talk about the third law of motion and we'll understand what is the conservation of momentum as well. Once again, guys, I hope you guys are paying attention, because right now we're going to talk about the quote for the day and then get started with the session for today. So here is the quote for today, guys. Sometimes we are tested not to show our weaknesses but to discover our strength. Whatever adversities that you guys face, people, and I'm pretty sure that no matter how young you are, you all face some sort of adversities. It is not that it's going to be the same for everyone. It's not that whatever problems I face, you would also face the same. So I cannot say that this is the solution for everything in life. But whatever the adversities are, whatever the problems that you face, it's not something to push you down or to to poke at your problems. It is to sometimes make you a better person. It's like imagine the butterfly. You have to get out of the cocoon stage before the butterfly comes out. So whatever the problems that you guys are facing right now, think of it as a step from you becoming a greater person in the future. Alright, I know a lot of bashing, but yes, people, it's a fact of life, and I want you guys to be prepared for life as well. It's not just writing your exams and expecting to score good marks and getting through life. You also have to be prepared mentally to face whatever comes forward. All right, so anyways, guys, with that said, let us get started with today's session. So this is going to be the last session of Force and Laws of Motion. We'll be talking about the third law of motion as well as conservation of momentum. So let us start with the laws of motion. But before we get started, guys, in the last session I'd given you a homework. This was the homework, basically finding the force applied on an object having a mass of 500 grams and acceleration of 20 meter per second. So we had done the second law of motion in the last session. If you guys remember the formula, I told you that force is nothing but mass into acceleration, and mass of this object is given as 500 grams. Convert that to kg, because the SI unit of force is kg meter per second square. So convert that to kg. So 500 grams in terms of kg is basically 0.5 kg. So 0.5 into 200, or you can take it as 1 by 2 into 200. 0.5 is 1 by 2 into 20. Sorry, guys, not 200. It's 20. Multiply that. What are you going to get? You're going to get it as 10 Newton, or 10 kg meter per second square, or you can write it as 10 Newton. That's all, guys. That is all. Sometimes you just have to solve problems with some ease. That's all. Anyways, with that said, guys, the third law of motion. Let's talk about the third law of motion as well as the conservation of momentum. Now here's the thing, guys. Third law of motion is something that I'm pretty sure that everyone is aware of. Let's start with a simple example. I'm pretty sure that majority of you guys watching the video right now is sitting on your chair or on your bed or on your divan, whatever it is, you're sitting somewhere. Now, you're exerting a force on the chair. That's very clear. That's your weight. Because of the gravitational force, your force, basically you're exerting a force on the chair, which is nothing but your weight. The chair also exerts an equal and opposite force to your body. And that is why the chair does not collapse. Now, if in case this wasn't the scenario, if in case the chair wasn't exerting any force on your body back, then what would happen is that the chair would just crumble, because your force is greater than that of the chair, and what would happen? You would just fall straight down. So because the chair is exerting a force opposite and equal in magnitude, you don't fall down from that chair. Now there are a lot of examples like this. This is one of the one of the most common ones. A fish that is swimming in water. The fish exerts a force on the water. The water in return exerts a force on the fish in the opposite direction. The fish is exerting a force in the backward direction. It is pushing the water backwards so that it can move forward. Why does it move forward? When it pushes the water backward, the water exerts a force on the fish which is equal in magnitude but opposite in direction, and that is why the fish moves forward. A lot more examples like this when you're walking also. When your foot is actually exerting a force in the backward direction. When you're walking, you push your foot backwards, right? So the ground in return exerts an equal and opposite force in the opposite direction. That is why you are propelled forward. Other than that, when you're swimming, you're pushing the water backwards. In return, the water is exerting a force in the opposite direction. That is why you're moving forward. You're pushing the water backward. The water exerts an equal force in the opposite direction, so you move forward. Other than that, when you're skateboarding or when you're skating, in all of these also we experience the same thing. So this time what you use your other leg to your one of the legs would be on the skateboard and the other would be on the ground. So you propel yourself forward. You exert a force in the backward direction. The ground in return exerts a force in the opposite direction, and so you move forward. So in conclusion, it's simple, guys. When one object exerts an action force on another object, instantaneously or immediately, there's another force exerted by the second object on the first object, which is nothing but the reaction force. So there's an action force, and because of action there's a reaction force, and that, my friends, is nothing but your third law of motion. And this force, the reaction force, is going to be equal in magnitude. Whatever is the amount of force that you are exerting, the force that is exerted back would also be equal in magnitude but opposite in direction. So if you are exerting a force towards the right, the reaction force would be towards the left, but the value of it would remain the exact same. So in the most simplest terms, in the most let me just keep it simple. So yeah, in the most simplest terms, guys, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. I'm pretty sure that everyone has heard this before. This, my friends, is nothing but the Newton's third law of motion. As simple as that. Now that you understood this, guys, there are a lot of examples that you can think of. When you throw a ball on the wall, the ball exerts a force on the wall in return exerts another force on the ball, and that's why the ball bounces backwards and it comes back to you. It's the same when you fire a bullet from the gun as well. So when you fire a bullet on the gun would exert a force on the bullet. The bullet in return would also exert a force on the gun, and which is why the gun moves backwards. You've probably heard about something called as recoil. I'm pretty sure that everyone has, all your PUBG lovers and all that out there. I know pretty well all of you guys do play all these games, so you probably know what is recoil. So when you fire the bullet in return exerts an equal force on the gun, and that's why the gun moves backwards. It's in the opposite direction, so the gun moves backwards. That is what is called as recoil. Now, what we're going to do right now is, guys, we're going to understand a little bit more about the acceleration produced on it, because or we're going to use the second law of motion to understand this a little bit more. Now here's the thing. The acceleration of the bullet is going to be far more greater than the acceleration produced on the gun. That is very, very clear. It's not that the gun would also go with the same speed as the bullet. You know that bullet, you can't even see it. It's so fast that you can't even see it, right? It's almost travels at the speed of sound. So how is it that this is happening? Now, in the past, we understood about the Newton's second law of motion. And I told you that force is equal to mass times acceleration. Now, the force is going to be the same. Why? Because whatever is the magnitude of the force exerted by the gun on the bullet is going to be the same magnitude as the bullet exerting on the gun as well. So the force is going to remain the same. So force in the bullet is equal to the force in the gun. But then the mass of the bullet and the mass of the gun is a lot different. Bullet weighs a lot lesser compared to that of the gun. So the mass of the bullet is far more greater than that of the gun. So the acceleration produced on the bullet is far more greater than that of the gun. Why? Because the mass is less. Because the mass is less, so what happens is that the acceleration on that is actually greater. So what I'm trying to say is this, guys. Acceleration on a body depends on their mass as well. Lesser the mass, if the amount of force is same, if the mass is less, acceleration is going to be more. As simple as that. Alright guys, now we're going to talk about something even more interesting, which is nothing but understanding the conservation of momentum. What exactly is conservation of momentum and how is it that you need to understand? Why do you need to study all of this? Let's talk about that a little. So here's the thing guys. Let's assume two balls coming and hitting each other. Alright. Let's say that the mass of the ball 1 is m1 and mass of the ball 2 is m2. So they're coming with an initial velocity v1 and v2. They collide and then and the velocity of the object changes. Obviously, like for example, when you are playing carom, when you hit the striker on the coin, you imagine that you want to hit the coin. So the striker will go and hit the coin. After they both collide, the velocity on both of them will change. So the final velocity produced on m1 and m2, let's say that is v1 dash and v2 dash, whatever the final velocity is. Now, in the past, we talked about what is momentum. What is momentum? What is momentum? P is equal to m into v. The quantity of motion is what is called a momentum, which is nothing but mass into velocity. Now, what we're going to do is that we're going to find out what is the momentum of both these balls before collision and after collision. Let's try to find that out. Alright, now before collision, before both of these objects collide, before collision, yeah, my spellings might be wrong, yeah, just ignore it. Before collision. Now, what is the mass of the first objects? It's m1, first object m1 and the initial velocity is v1. Alright, and the mass of the second object is what? m2 and the initial velocity is v2. So before collision, what is the total momentum of both the balls? It'll be m1 v1 plus m2 v2. That is the momentum on both the balls before collision. Now after collision, what would happen? The velocity changes to what? v1 dash and v2 dash. So in place of v1 and v2, write it as v1 dash and v2 dash. Basically, it will look like this. So this is the total momentum before collision, and this is the total momentum after collision because the velocity is changing after both the balls collide. Now what we're going to do is that I want you guys to remember this, because right now we're going to use this to find out how do we explain, or basically to understand what is the conservation of momentum. Now here's the thing guys, when both the balls are colliding, ball 1 or the ball of mass m1 would exert a force on m2. Ball m2 would in turn exert a force on m1, and both of these would be in the opposite direction but equal in magnitude. That is what we just saw. According to Newton's third law of motion, both of these are exerting a force but equal in magnitude but opposite in direction. So we're going to use this to derive the total, or basically the conservation of momentum. So how does the derivation go? Now, the force exerted by ball A on ball B, I'll take it as FAB, force exerted by A on B. And the force exerted by ball B on A, I'll take it as BA. Now, both of these are equal in magnitude but in opposite in direction. And force, as you guys already know, is it's a vector quantity. It also depends on direction. So because it's opposite in direction, I'll take it as FAB is equal to minus FBA. Why? Because they're opposite in direction. After collision, they're both going in the opposite direction, or basically we have just seen right in the action force and the reaction force. It'll be opposite in direction. So FAB is equal to minus FBA. Now, what is FAB? What is force? Force is nothing but mass into acceleration. Now, let's just calculate what is the acceleration of the first object. Alright. So the mass of the first one is m1. What is the formula for acceleration? Acceleration is nothing but rate of change of velocity. That is v minus u divided by t. Final velocity minus initial velocity divided by time taken is nothing but your acceleration. Now, the initial velocity on the object, on the first object is u1. We'll take it as u1, and the final velocity on the object is v1, and time taken, let's take it as t. Very simple scenario. We just took that out. In the same way, do it for the second object as well. So what are you gonna get? You're gonna get MBA. So instead of taking it as M1, take it as MA, because they've taken it as MA. That's my fault. So we'll take it as MA VA UA and T. Why MA? Because it is the acceleration of on the ball A, the mass of the ball A. So let us MA into VA minus UA divided by T. Now the same thing you're going to do it for the second object as well. So this time will be MB VB minus UB divided by T. Very, very simple. So FAB you'll get it as MA into VA minus UA divided by T, and FBA is equal to MB into VB minus UB divided by T. As simple as that. Now, in this previous, like before, couple of minutes back, we saw that FAB is equal to minus FBA. We just saw that right now. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to substitute the values over here. So what is FAB? That is MA VA minus UA divided by T, whole divided by T, sorry. And here it is MB minus MB, sorry, minus of VB minus UB divided by T. Simple. Now, if you simplify this equation, what you're going to get is basically this. If you simplify this equation, you get it as MAUA. So what are you going to do? You're going to multiply this to this, this to this, this to this, and this to this. When you multiply all of these, or when you simplify this equation, what you get is basically this. MAUA plus MBUB is equal to MAVA plus MBVB. Now, if you think about it, guys, what exactly is this? What is MA and UA? That is the momentum of the object of ball number A before collision. What is MBUB? The momentum of the object B before collision. What is MAVA? Because after collision the velocity is changing. So that is the final velocity of the object after collision. So MAVA is the final momentum of object number A, and MBUVB is nothing but the momentum of the object number B after collision. So what I'm trying to say is this, guys. What is conservation of momentum is nothing but the total momentum of the object before collision will be equal to the total momentum of the object after collision. It is going to be the same as long as there's a condition, as long as there is no external force. If there is an external force, if you add additional force to it, then it will not be the same. As long as the force remains constant, the initial momentum before collision, or the total momentum before collision of that system, would be equal to the total collision after collision as well. And this, my friends, is what is law of conservation of momentum. Now I want you guys to take a screenshot of this, because there'll be a lot of problems asked based on this. MAUA plus MBVUB is equal to MAVA plus MBVB, and this is going to be a very, very important formula, because there'll be a lot of questions based on this. Now, in an ideal collision, guys, there is no external force, and the system is is balanced on its own. There's no external force, because if you add an extra force to it, then the system becomes unbalanced and the momentum also changes. But ideally, there is no external force, and thus the total momentum of that object or that system remains constant. Alright, now that you understood this, guys, let us solve some questions. But before that, you guys know the drill. So just give me 2 minutes of your time, guys. It's going to be super duper important. Listen to me for the next 2 minutes, because that is going to help you guys to do better in your exams. So here's the thing, guys. In the past, we had actually given a poll. We had asked you a poll on YouTube asking what are the problems that you guys are facing, especially during this pandemic. Many of you guys are facing a lot of problems. So what are those problems that you guys are facing on a daily basis? Now these are the things that you guys have told us. The first problem that majority of you guys are facing is that, sir, my doubts are not getting cleared. That is one of the major issues, because the first thing is that you only get doubts when you're studying, right? And majority of us study only during the exam time, and I'm pretty sure of that. And that is when you get a lot of doubts. So how do I get those doubts clear? Secondly, how do I download the notes? Because you guys are studying from so many different YouTube channels and websites and stuff. But how do you download the notes so that you can practice those things that you see on your screen? Thirdly, tests and assignments, because you can't just go and write your final exam. You have to prepare yourself as well. So how do you prepare yourself by, for these tests and assignments? How do you prepare yourself by attending these tests and assignments? How do you prepare yourself for competitive exams? Because you guys are planning to do your KVPI and NTSE and a lot of competitive exams. So how do you prepare yourself for that? These are the questions that you guys have been asking us for a very long time. the choice of your own schedule, because you're not free when the teacher is free, the teacher is not free when you're free. So there's a lot of conflict of schedule as well. And finally, but definitely not the least, the choice of your own language, because obviously not everyone is comfortable with English and not everyone is comfortable with Hindi. So how do I study in a language that I can understand, rather than expecting to translate that or use Google Translate to understand what the teacher has just told me? Now here's the thing, guys. We at Vedantu have solved all of these problems in one shot. Now here's how we have done it. In the session, you will not just have one master teacher. You will also have the class teacher to help you clear your doubts. So you'll have at least 2 teachers inside the class to help you clear your doubts, as well as to teach the concept. So whatever doubts you have will be solved right there and then inside the session itself. You can download the notes as well as the recordings of each and every session. You can watch it n number of times. There's no limit to it at all. You will get periodic tests and assignments, and depending on those tests and assignments, you'll also get a detailed report card at the end of every month to tell you where you're going wrong and what are the topics that you have to improve on. You will be trained for your competitive exams. You can choose your own schedule, because live classes are going on throughout the entire day. Whenever you feel like studying, or whenever you feel like your brain is more active, you can choose that particular time and study from that teacher. And you can choose your own language. Now at this point of time, we are offering classes in English as well as in Hindi. In the future, we might be adding more language to it. For now, it's English and Hindi, and I'm pretty sure that the entire country is divided like this, English and Hindi. Like a majority of you guys understand Hindi and majority of you guys understand English. So it's like a it's like a partial division that we see over here. So here's the thing, guys. Apart from all of these, you also have unlimited live classes. You can watch how many of our live classes you want in a day. You have all micro courses as well as crash courses. You can attend how many of micro courses that you want. You get a detailed performance report card, and you get personalized attention because of the class teacher inside the class. So what you have to do is very simple, guys. Click onto the link that is given in the description. Once you click on that link on the description, this is what you're gonna get. You have to choose what grade you're in. The choice is from 1 to 12th grade. Let's say that you are in 10th grade. Once you click on 10th grade, this is what you're gonna get. You have to choose which board do you belong to. Do you belong for CBSE board, ICSE board, or Maharashtra board? So these are the 3 syllabuses that we're covering at this point of time. Let's say that you are someone in CBSE syllabus. Once you click on that CBSE syllabus, this is what you're going to get. Everything that I just told you in one class. You can pause the video and watch or read all of this if you want to. What you have to do is click on get subscription. Once you click on get subscription, this is what you're going to get: 1, 3, and 6 months. Let's say you want to try for the next 30 days. If you choose the 1-month program, the base price of that is 4,000 rupees. But don't worry, guys, you'll not be paying so much. You get a primary discount on that. Essentially, the price comes down to 2,699 rupees. If you want an additional discount on that 2,699 rupees, click on enter coupon code and enter the coupon code AM Pro. Once you enter this coupon code AM Pro, you get additional 500 rupees discount, and what you'll be paying is 2,159 rupees for the whole month. Let's say you want to go for the 3-month subscription course. For the 3-month subscription, the base price is 10,000 rupees. But again, don't worry, guys, you get a primary discount on that, so you get the price to be 6,999 rupees. If you want an additional discount of around 1,000 rupees, enter the coupon code AM Pro. You get additional 1,399 rupees discount, and what you're going to get is what you'll be paying is basically 5,599 rupees. Let's say we'll go for the 6-month course. Over here, the base price is 16,000 rupees. You get an additional discount on that. Don't worry about it. It'll be 11,499 rupees. Enter the coupon code AM Pro. Don't forget the coupon code AM Pro. You get additional 2,299 rupees discount, and what you're going to be paying for the next 6 months is 9,199 rupees. Now here's the thing, guys. Trust me, you'd find it very, very helpful. You'll be studying with India's best teachers. Trust me when I say that. They are one of the best teachers in India. So do check it out and let me know what you think about it. With that said, guys, this is the thing. What you have to do is click on the link that is given in the description and enter this coupon code AM Pro. Do not forget the coupon code. With that said, guys, let us get back into the questions. Right now, it's time for us to solve some questions. Now, here's the thing, guys. I want everyone to take a pen and paper and be ready. Do not just expect me to solve the question for you people. I want you guys to do it with me. There is no exception in that. So pause the video and write down the answer for each and every question. I want you guys to solve each and every question. I'll show you the first one. After that, I want you guys to do it. All right. Here's the first one. Find the recoil velocity of a gun having mass equal to 5 kg if a bullet of 25 grams acquires a velocity of 500 meters per second after firing from the gun. You're supposed to find out what is the final velocity of the gun or the recoil velocity of the gun. Here are your options: minus 0.5 meter per second, minus 2.5 meter per second, or 2 meter per second, or 3.5 meter per second. So how do you solve this question, guys? Let me show it to you guys. Now, I want you guys to do it with me, all right? Do not just sit there and watch the video. So here's the thing. Mass of the gun is given. I'll take it as M1, all right? Mass of the gun is 5 kg. Let's say that mass of the bullet is M2, which is 25 grams. I'm going to convert that to kg. So divided by 1000, so that'll be 0.025 kg, right? Now, they've also given me what is the velocity of the bullet. I have to calculate what is the velocity of the gun, which I'll take it as V1, because I don't know what the velocity of the mass of the gun is M1. So the velocity of the gun, I'll take it as M1. And the final velocity of the bullet, V2, is what? Is 500 meters per second. Now, what is U1 and U2? Both the bullet and the gun is initially in the state of rest. After that, they are being fired. So U1 and U2 is basically equal to 0. So U1 is equal to U2 is equal to 0. Now what I have to do is use the conservation of momentum formula. That is M1 V1 plus M2 V2. I will take it as U1 M1 U1 plus M2 U2 is equal to M1 V1 plus M2 V2. That is the total conservation of momentum before collision is equal to total conservation of momentum after collision. Now, what is the total momentum before collision? That is, for the first one, it's 5 into U1 is 0 and M2 is what? M2 is how much? It's 0.025. Yeah, M2 is 0.025. 0.025 into 0 is equal to M1 again is 5. V1 is, I do not know that, and M2 is 0.025 into 500. So what I'm going to get is basically 0, 5 into 0, and 0.025 into 0 is 0 itself. So 5 V1 plus 0.025 into 500 is 12.5. If I'm not, it's around 12.5. So what you're gonna get is I'm gonna take this to the other side. So what I'm gonna get is it as 5V1 is equal to minus 12.5. So V1 is equal to minus 12.5 divided by 5, 5 to 10 and 525. So you get it as minus 2.5 meter per second. That's it, people. The recoil velocity in the gun would be minus 2.5 meter per second. As simple as that. That's all, guys. That is the answer for this question. It's a very simple question. So all you have to do is use the conservation of momentum formula and you'll be able to solve all these questions very, very easily. All right. Moving on to the second question. Again, guys, I want you to solve the question and let me know what is the answer in the comment section below before I tell you what the answer is. Here's the question. A boy of 50 kg mass is running with a velocity of 22 meters per second. He jumps over a stationary cart of 2 kg while running find the velocity of the cart after jumping off the boy. Is it 1.92 meter per second? Is it 2.925 meter per second, 0.25 meter per second, or 1.5 meter per second? So first thing, write down the given data. What is given? M1 is given. M1 is given as 50 kg. M2 is given as how much? The mass of the cart is 2 kg. Yes, 2 kg. Now, U1 of the object of the boy is 2 meter per second. He's running with an initial velocity of 2 meter per second. What is U2 of the, that is U2, which is nothing but the velocity of the cart. The object is stationary, so U2 is going to be 0. What is the final velocity is what I'm supposed to find. Now, here's the thing is, imagine a boy, all right? He's running and there's a cart. The cart is already, the cart is in the state of rest. Once the boy jumps into the cart, both the cart and the boy would start to travel with the same velocity. So I can say that V1 is equal to V2, which I'll take it as V. Alright, so I'm supposed to find out what is the value of V, because once the boy jumps into the cart, both of them would travel at the same speed or same velocity. So I'm supposed to find out what is that final velocity. Now use the formula, guys. M1 V1. I'm going to write down the formula again. Write the steps, guys, because that is going to fetch you marks. Do not just ignore it. Even if you get the calculation wrong, you'll still get some marks if you write your steps. So do not forget to write down your steps as well. M1 V1 is plus M2 V2. My handwriting is very clean, I understand that. So M1 is given as 50, U1 is 0, U1 is 2, the velocity of the boy. M2 is given as 2 into 0. M1 once again is 50 into V plus it is 2 into V. Alright, so 50 into 2 is 100 plus 2 that is 0 is equal to 50V plus 2V. Alright, now what I'm going to do, I'll take V common, so we'll get you can take it as 52V. Alright, so 100 divided by 52 is equal to V. What is that? If you divide it, you'll get it as 1.92. That would be the velocity, the final velocity of the cart as well as the ball. So the final velocity would be 1.92 meter per second. That's all, people. That's all. Very simple question. That is all for the second question. Moving on to the third one. This is also a very interesting one. Two balls of mass 5 kg and 10 kg are moving with a velocity of 16 meter per second and 5 meter per second respectively in the same direction. Both the balls collide after collision. Both move in the same direction. If after collision of mass 5 kg ball moves with a velocity of 6 meter per second, what is the final velocity of the ball which is having a mass of 10 kg? That is what you're supposed to find out. Is it 15 meter per second, 21 meter per second, 12 meter per second, or 10 meter per second? Again, guys, let me know what is the answer in the comment section below. Let me just solve it for you guys quickly. So M1 is 5, M2 is 10 kg. They've given you the initial velocity V1. So U1 is 16, U2 is 5 meter per second. Again, I'm not writing the values. I'm not writing the units. I'm sorry, guys. So 5 kg, 10 kg, 16 meter per second, and 5 meter per second. And they've given you what is the final velocity of the first object. That is 6 meter per second. Find out what is V2. Again, guys, it is 5 into 16 plus 10 into 5, which is equal to 5 into 6 plus 10 into V2. So this is what you're gonna get. So 16 into 5, 6, 30, 0, 3, 5. So that's 80 plus 50 is equal to 5, 6, 30 plus 10 V2. What is 50 plus 30? 50 plus 30 is 130, if I'm not wrong. So 130 is equal to 30 plus 10 V2. 130 minus 30 is equal to 10 V2. So you're going to get as 100 is equal to 10 V2. So V2 is equal to 100. V2 is equal to 100 divided by 10. So you get as 10 meter per second. That's all, people. The answer to this question would be 10 meter per second. That is after collision, the object number 2, which has a mass of 10 kg, would start moving at the velocity of 10 meter per second, and both of them are moving in the same direction, so it's going to be positive. That is it, guys. That is the homework. Now that is the question. This is your homework for today. Let me know what is the answer in the comment section below. The question is this: a bullet of 5 grams is fired with a pistol of 1.5 kg. The mass of the bullet is given. The mass of the gun is given. If the recoil velocity of the pistol is 1.5 meter per second, find out what is the final velocity of the bullet. Let me know what is the answer in the comment section below, guys. It's a very simple question. So that is it from my side. Thank you for joining today's session, guys. If you did like the session, leave a like. I would very much appreciate it. That would that would help me understand that you guys are actually enjoying the sessions. If there's any kind of any kind of suggestions that you would like to give me, you can also send me an email or put it out in the comment section below. I'll definitely try to make some time and read those comments as well. Thank you for joining, guys. See you all in the next one. Take care of yourself. Subscribe to the channel. See you all in the next one. Take care of yourself. Stay safe. Until the next time with me, this is Anoop signing off for the day. Bye bye, people. Bye, guys.